Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, and this is video 3 in our series called Lilac and Lavender Dreams. And in this video, let's make an envelope stack. So, my voice is cracking. So first of all, let me show you, don't forget to ink your envelopes. In video 1, we cut them all off to 8 1/4, the long ones, and the 6x9 business catalog mailer is what they call it. And make sure that you, when we glue them, that because we're going to glue them like this, so make sure that you glue them to the back, not the front, and make sure that the top is at the top, the opening is at the top. Okay, now when we cut these off, the long ones, we glued the end that we cut together, and then that left that little piece that looks like this. On these long ones, it left one at one end, so I cut it off, so you can see there's not one at either end. All right, and I'm going to make these into pockets, I believe. I was going to cover the whole thing and then cut the edge to make a pocket from the outside. And I'm still not sure for sure which one I'm going to do, but hopefully I will decide. So to build our envelope stack, we are going to use a couple of magnets as well. So I'm going to try to explain this to you in a much better way than when I did the first video. That's why this one is inked and this one isn't. I'm just going to use this for another project. I used the 8 1/4. I cut them all apart in lots of different stuff. So as you know, I make envelope stacks. I like to do that. My dog is sniffing my ankle. Its nose is cold. Anyway, so what it's going to look like is, it's going to look like this when we're done. This is our big one, our 6x9. This is our 2 business envelopes. They will close over each other. And then these are our 2 small check envelopes, and they're going to close over each other as well. And I've centered everything so that they're lined up even. Okay, so we've also got our CD envelope. It's got a magnet on it, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And it's going to close over like this, and it's going to hold the whole thing shut. All right, so let's do this thing. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue the check envelopes. Put the end that you cut. Make sure that's the end that stays at the top. And then flip it over. Well, we're going to have to take the tape off. Forgot about that. Then we're going to glue it. Put glue right down the tape, and that gives you time to swish it around. We're going to glue this to the back of the front cover, so you don't have to glue it like you're, trying to keep it safe in Fort Knox. All right, open top, and we want to be able to close it without it binding, so we're going to line it up. Now with yours being inked, it's probably going to be easier to line it up. And slide it a little bit, then turn it over and check that it closes flat. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We'll pull the tape off. Need to pull the tape off, she says confidently. We're going to put the glue on. Yeah, that first time that I went through it, it went horribly wrong as far as my discussion of what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. It was really early in the morning, and I must say I was a bit manic. I have a little bit of an issue sometimes. So this is our top still. So we're going to glue our envelope on this way. I'm going to line up the top, making sure that we're able to close it. Line everything up. Check this side, make sure it folds okay. Sorry you couldn't see that, but I was just wiping schmutz off of there. Okay, and as you can see, I did it incorrectly. I glued this one to the front. We're going to paper it, so it's alright, but it's a good thing I noticed. I forgot this one's upside down. I accidentally cut the wrong end off. That's why I glued it on upside down. Okay, so I'm going to glue it on here. Your mileage may vary trying to do it this way. Okay, but I can't leave it that way or I'll glue it shut because I'm waiting for this glue to dry that I accidentally put on there. Sorry about that. So I, when I was cutting them in the paper trimmer, I should have cut one at 8 1/4 and then put the other one in the other way and cut it 8 1/4 because we're putting them on opposite sides, so that flips the envelope the opposite ways if we want the squares to be at the top together. It doesn't matter, we're cutting them off even and then gluing the open end shut, so you know it's no big whoop. It's just my brain kind of makes those kind of things make me unhappy. So I'm waiting for this glue to dry as I knock over the rest of the glue. Let's see if we can get this to dry a little bit more. We're going to, let me just do this side. We're going to do the same thing on these, only we're going to glue them on this way. And we're going to want to center them. So what we want to do is, we know these are 8 1/4. So you're going to want to open it. Half of a quarter is 3/8. So you want to go 4 3/8. Now remember, you've got the flap. So if you put your mark here, it's going to be covered. So go in a little bit. Go in 4 3/8 and mark it. And it's going to be your center. Just making sure that I'm doing this correctly. I do not want to have to make a third one of these. Sorry, just kind of got the chuckles at having to make it the third time. It would not be the first time I've had to make a video more than once. Well, more than twice. I have several envelope builds hanging around in my "it works fine, messed up the video, use it for another project" stack. Envelope stack in the stack. I keep feeling like I'm going to sneeze. Okay, so we're going to want to, we measure the center, or we can kind of eyeball the center. I'm going to measure how long this is. kind of hard to see against the white. I'm going to measure how long this edge is, not this edge. And this edge is 7 5/8, which is lovely. I really, really want it to be 7 1/2. I am so looking at it the wrong way. Okay. So it's 5 5/8. If we do them both the same, the dogs upstairs are barking. Oz. Get away from the door. Okay, so got to mark that time so I can cut it out if my hand over the mic doesn't make that quiet enough. I apologize. I live in an apartment, so I can't just let him bark. All right, so we at 6 1/2. Well, 3 1/4. If we put our ruler at the end here, will still give us the center. Silly me. I'm sure you guys were all yelling that at me. Make sure this is at the end. Go to 3 1/4. Double check. They're not even. I think this one might be the one that could possibly be wrong. I want mine to be even, and I'll show you. The envelopes could be off by just a smidge too. I mean, they are just factory envelopes. 3 1/4. It still looks like 3 1/4 to me. I'm lining up the end of my ruler with the end of the envelope as far as I can. That looks like 3 1/4. I'm going to mark it there. Let's line it up. I checked that and it folded flat. This is still a little sticky, but if I check that, I check this one. I want mine to be even with each other. Oh, all right. That was really off. Not really sure how. I measured the big one off. Okay. So, I can make lines on the front, can't I? Where I want the tops to be. They're being covered with paper. I can't believe this is so hard. I should have just smushed them up and down until they were even, you know, with the glue. Maybe I should just whistle to myself or something. Okay, well that was so much easier. The dogs upstairs are barking again. Oz. 1, 2. Okay. Yep. So we're going to put this one on this way. All right. Just wanted to make sure. I'll be curious to see how close it is to the lines on the other side when I flip them over. I'm not flipping them over until they're on. And then I'll have a look-see. Putting this glue over the tape. Alright, I'm going to try not to be silly this whole time. If I was just doing it, I would have been done 5 minutes ago. Alright, that one's a little high. It's a little off my mark. You have to remember your pencil lead has a thickness as well. Okay. I really wish this hadn't stuck so quickly. I really want to move it down just a little bit. Much better. Okay, I'm going to keep this open. It's still a little sticky. All right, now the CD cover is going to go on here, but we're not going to put it on yet. However, we are going to put a magnet on it. Now, let me explain about the magnet. One is going to go on the CD cover. The other is going to go right here. Now, I know you're thinking, Terry, how am I going to know where it goes? We're going to put a pin in it. So, we're going to glue our magnet on here. All I've used is art glitter glue. That's why we're not going to let the magnets touch. This is just until I get the paper over it. So it's kind of a temporary, it's holding it, but if the two magnets touch, then this one will come unglued. So, since I've already done this video once, I've already marked which side is the top. And the top, you put one magnet on top of the other. Right? So then you slide it off. Or when there's just two, sometimes you can just take it off. And then you're going to take where the two were together. The two sides that are touching are now going to be the top. You're going to want to glue one this way and that one that way, so that when you close it, these two sides touch. So I took a Sharpie marker and wrote a T on there. As you can see, it doesn't last forever, but it doesn't need to. So this one is going to be glued. Put that up there. I have a metal little rack there, and if I just stick the glue magnet to that, it stays. So we're going to put the CD cover on here, and we're going to fold it over. Now you can just flip it back a little bit, and you can see where the other magnet needs to go. I don't know if you can, I hope you can see that. I'm just pulling it back a little bit and then bringing it kind of forward. I'm going to move it over just a little bit. Now remember, the magnets, this is just paper. The magnets don't have to be super duper completely totally 100% lined up, but it makes it easier. Okay. Yeah, if I put it on both of those dots, I can always move this up and down because we're not going to glue it on, remember, until we paper it and until we've papered the magnet onto here. All right. The reason we're not gluing the magnet onto here is because it won't hold it shut, because it opens like this anyway. So the whole thing will just flop open. Now, if you're going to do it this way, you could glue it on the top of the envelope. So we could do that. That would be easier. If you want, for some reason, the pattern on your paper, or for some other reason, if you can, do it this way, and then this is going to close like this, then you can put the magnet right here, and then you can do it the same way that I showed you. All right, so let's just do that. If you can't, where you've made your mark, just take a pin. Remember, we're going to cover these with paper. Just take a pin and poke a hole through where you need your magnet to go. Flip it over when your little hole is. Just kind of make a circle there. And that's where you need to glue your magnet. Ta-da! All right, so it just depends on which way you're going to close your flap. I think this is awful close to the edge here. I've already glued this on. I mean, I can pull it off and move it over a little bit. It's not going to hurt anything. Remember, I told you this is temporarily glued on. See, I can pull it right off. It holds it just enough that you can paper it. It does take a minute to dry though. So if I move this magnet over just a little bit, say here, then it will be underneath this, which will hold it closed. So these are the two different ways you can do it. It's just your choice, whichever way you want to do it. If I move it over, then that puts it behind the here, which is what we want. And then it will close over on here. And then it will be fine. We just need to double check our alignment. Which, if we're going to move this over here, it's going to be kind of hard to see. We can just, we've moved this one to the right, so we can just move this one to the left a little bit and put it on the front. Which is easier, but the pen, you know, is fine if you're going to close it the other way. It doesn't really matter. You're also going to have to paper this envelope before you put the envelope stack on, or the CD onto the envelope stack. However, you need to let me just show you. I've cut my papers already. This is my paper for the inside cover. It matches the inside cover on this side. I decided to make it look like one picture all the way across, just like I made the belly band look the same as well, and the envelope. Because the lilacs are so big on here, I decided to put the lavender on here. The reason I didn't just cut and put 2 strips on either side is that I just felt like there's the possibility of seeing enough of where the paper would be that I didn't want to take a chance. And you have to print the paper to cut the strips off anyway, so I'm just going to glue mine down and then glue my envelope stack on top of it. So now I'm going to go back to my purple one. I don't want to accidentally glue anything on my white one. So as you can see, I had changed my mind to put this one underneath, but my envelopes are lined up a little bit different. So we'll ignore my marks. And in fact, let me double check. Yes, that's, no, it's not. Yes, this is the open end. It's hard to mistake. It is not hard to stick your finger there and go, okay, that's the open end of the envelope, but really that's just where these are overlapping, and it gives you the illusion of that being the open end of the envelope. So you better check. Okay, you can draw a light way bigger than what you would make, and farther in. You can draw something like this, so you remember to put the thumb grab there once you've papered it. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I just bumped the mic. So what we're going to do, or what you need to do, is cover your CD, glue your magnet on, cover your CD. I'm not going to make you watch me glue everything on camera. What I've done is I've cut my circle for the front. Now, mine is 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. These I bought at Amazon and by the box. And the ones that came with CDs, like not music CDs, but other recorded CDs that I had back when I used to do ebooks and such, and audiobooks. So they were 5 by 5. So it's just, you should just measure and make sure. And I just used my Big Shot and cut the circle out. So I'm going to glue this on here. Then I need a paper for the inside. So I cut this smaller one for the inside. I marked it inside because I used the same page. This page prints out with two musical scores. And so you want the bigger one as your card. I didn't write card on there because I printed on double side. So then you're gonna slide this in here. It's probably easier if you wait don't forget to ink your paper. Ink the paper in the middle. Slide this in. Center it so it covers the whole hole. Okay. And then I'm going to put the glue in. I'm going to see if I can do it like this without having to slide it in with glue on it. As long as the part where you're sliding the card in and out is glued, then you're really going to be fine. When you are doing this, what I'm doing is I'm holding it down with my fingers where I want it to be. It's going to be glued on this back side, so I'm going to put the glue on the back side on the inside of the CD cover, and I'm going to put it all up here at the top so that when this is glued here, then it won't catch when the card is put in and out. Alright, so that's what I'm about to do. I am going to glue this part on camera to show you. Okay, so I'm just putting glue in here inside the CD cover, especially right along the edge. Then I'm going to make sure that this is all lined up. Make sure there's no extra glue. Like right here, it leaked out a little bit. Right here. You don't want to glue it shut. So put your hand in here and smear it around. That's kind of cute. I've got my title here, which is The Lilac That Grew by the Gate. And my CD cover is going this way, so I want my pattern to go this way when I glue it on. Then I want to glue the magnet on. And then I want to glue the back cover on. Okay, and I want to make sure, because this butterfly is here, I want to make sure that I'll mark them top and top. And I'll mark this top and top. I don't want to write that too close to the edge. Just a little bitty T. Okay, so just glue this on here. Glue your magnet on where you marked it. Let it dry. Glue your paper on top. When you glue the paper on top, put extra glue around where your magnet is so the paper is securely on around your magnet. You've got enough glue to hold your magnet on. You can have enough glue around. You can use two-sided tape. I've never used two-sided tape before. You can go to online on YouTube. You can go to Miss Paint A Lot. I'll put a link below the video, and go see her mini album that she just posted. It's called Mariposa, M-A-R-I-P-O-S-A, which means butterfly. And she does magnets in that project. She's only done a couple pages so far, and I'm doing it along with her. I've never done a mini photo album before. So you can see how to use double-sided tape with a magnet. I've used this glue method before and it works. Okay, so you're going to do all that first. And then close your envelopes. Glue your CD cover on so that your magnet is going to line up with where you're going to glue your where you're going to glue your other one. Okay, so just line them up and then leave it open. Glue your magnet on, which I think we decided was moved over a little bit. Now remember, this cannot be the top one, but make it the top one when you're lining it up and making your mark. Okay. Then we're going to mark it on the bottom. I'm going to put it on the bottom. We're going to use the pin. That's what I'm going to do. Make the pinhole so I know where the magnet goes. But I make the mark here. Put the pin through it like I showed you. Glue the magnet on. Cover this. My papers are the same on the front and the back. I'm gluing the whole thing because I'm going to cut the edge. So maybe I'll put this on pause. Put my magnets on. Cover the CD, cover this side, and then come back and show you real quick the rest. Why don't I do that? Okay, so I'm going to pause you here. I'm going to do the CD cover with the magnet. I'm going to glue my magnet over here, just like our first instructions went with the pin. Of course, I've already marked it now. And then I will come back before I glue the paper on this one. I just need to wait for the magnets to dry. All right, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the rest. Okay, we are back. And in this section, we're going to talk about the in this section, we're going to talk about the covers and the magnets for the closure. All right, so I accidentally glued the inside cover on off camera. I'm sorry about that. What I did was I cut out a piece of paper exactly like the one on this side, because once you put the envelope stack on, you're still going to be able to see it, and when you have the book inside your belly band, you're going to be able to see the paper and the belly band and everything. And so I just wanted it to be the same. Of course, your mileage may vary, and you can do obviously whatever you like as far as the paper goes. And this paper and the cover paper are going to be the same size. And that's going to be 7.5 by 8 1/4. 8 1/4 is the height, and you don't have to trim this for the height. All you have to do is cut the white borders off, depending on what printer you have, of course. But usually with an 8.5 by 11, when you trim the borders off, then the 8 1/4 height is what you end up with. Okay, so that's all there is to the inside cover. And I'm sorry I did it off camera. But cutting out a piece of paper, inking it, and gluing it is probably something you guys can already do. So the other thing we're going to need is our paper for the cover. We're going to need 2 magnets, one for the cover and one for the inside of our closure. Okay, now I originally in my little notes had said to take your book with your envelope and your envelope stack and set them to the side. However, we're going to do a couple things first, but then we're going to need this. So set it to the side for a second, but then we're going to bring it right back. Now to do the cover, I'm going to lay mine out flat because of the gusset. And let me look at my notes. I'm looking at my notes this time to make sure I'm doing everything in the right order. So you're going to select the paper that you want for your cover, and this is the page that I selected. And when you trim it to the 7.5 wide, then you're going to end up with the extra page now, or part of the page. Now I cut mine off on of the right half, or I cut the right half off because that gave me this little bird and the lilacs along with the lavender all in one picture. And I'm going to attach this picture to the back. And I was going to, if you remember, I had talked about wrapping the cover around, but I decided against doing that because when you carry it, I thought the manila folder would be stronger, more sturdy than the paper. And so I decided to go ahead and cut it and add this part of the paper onto the back. And then, like I said, we'll talk about the back in a minute. The additional thing you're going to need is the obviously the 2 magnets. I think I said that. Wow, I tapped my finger and two of my little dog hairs, or my little dog's hairs, fell on the folder. It's kind of funny, kind of weird. Anyway, so you're going to need to print out and cut out all these little 2.5 squares, or at least the one you're going to use for the inside here. I cut out all of them. Then I got a Brothers Scan and Cut, which I could have used to cut all of them out. But I did cut out all of this small ephemera for the inside all by itself with the machine. Yay! And so I just wanted to kind of brag about that. The other ephemera I had already cut out, the cards and stuff, by hand. So it didn't really help me for that. But okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, or the first thing after gluing the inside cover, is for the front cover, we're going to pick our page, we're going to trim it out, do whatever you want with the extra piece, depending on what you're going to do for your back cover. We're going to put the magnet on the front cover, and we've been using tape. So I've got a little piece of tape on my magnet. I'm going to put it down right here. Make sure the little piece of tape is narrow enough that it doesn't show, because your edge is kind of close here, but not wide enough that the tape shows outside the edge of your paper. And you can always adjust where the magnet goes on the inside of here, because remember, this goes like this, so that it lines up with this. So if you need to move it in a little bit, let me double check mine. Yeah, mine's fine. You know, actually, I could almost move it in a little farther and it would make it easier to glue. I'm going to move it in just a smidge. It's going to change our measurements, but the way I came up with the measurements is pretty easy. I'm not going to move it in that far either, so. All right. So I had this at 1.5 in and centered from top to bottom, so it looks like I probably moved the center of the magnet over 1/4 of an inch. So let's say 1 3/4. Let me double check with my paper now. Yeah, that looks like it's going to look much better. Okay? So we've got our magnet down. Now I've got a paper clip on here. The reason I had you cut out the squares is you're going to pick one, and we're going to glue it in the center on the inside of our closure, so that when we open it, then the magnet will be covered. Okay, so you can take that paper away. Now I have already marked where the magnet's going to go, and I may need to move it over a little bit. And I put the paper clip on with the small side on the inside and lined it up with the bottom where I wanted to put the magnet. Now I may need to move it over just a smidge, but I'll just show you on here in case it's the same. Now this is the part where we want to put our contents back in, because we want to have the closure with the thickness of what the final product is going to be, or project, or product, depending on if you sell yours. I haven't been selling mine. I have a whole shelf full of all the ones from our videos. Somebody told me I should sell them. So as you can see, I'm going to need to move my magnet. The way I did it, let me erase this. The way I did it was I put this on where it's going to be. Remember, there's a gusset, so make sure your gusset fold is lined up with the edge of the back of the folio. Okay, I'm going to fold it over and center it over the magnet. Then I just kind of lifted it up and looked and marked with my pencil, which I know you can't see me doing, but I'm sure you can figure it out. Made a dot over where the magnet was, or is. Actually, I think it moved. It did. I wonder if using the paper clip would work. Okay, so let's put our magnet right here. Let me look at that. And it looks like it lines up. Well, what a nifty way to do that. So now you're going to take your magnet and you're going to put it on there to make sure that the side that attracts to this magnet is facing up. So then slide it up, flip it over. If you need to, take a Sharpie and mark top. Okay, I'm just going to slide it and put it where I want it. Take another small piece of tape, because our squares are 2 inches by 2 inches. I'm going to tape my magnet down where I want it. Now I'm going to cover the cover. If I have to move a magnet, I would rather move this one, right? So we're going to set this to the side. I'm going to take these back out, set them to the side. I'll lay this out flat, and I'm going to glue the cover paper on. Wait for your glue to go down and wait for that bubble to bubble up, and then you know you're ready to go. Well, all right. Let me take my pen. Make sure it isn't gunked up a little bit in there. Doesn't seem to be coming out very much for the amount of glue that's in this bottle. Yeah, there we go. Usually when I'm doing this, when I'm working on one that I'm following a tutorial, like right now I'm working on a mini photo album, which I've never done before, which is very fun. I'm following a tutorial by Miss Paint-A-Lot. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before. I may have. You can look her up on YouTube and look up her mini photo album called Mariposa, which means butterfly. I don't know if that's another language or if that's, I think it is. I don't think Mariposa is the scientific name. Could be. Okay, make sure that your picture's right side up. If it's directional, then glue it on. I'm going to use this here as my guide, and the top as my guide for the edge. It looks like it's going to be a little too far up for what I want. I would like to see it a little bit further down. I'm going to slide it down a little bit. And now it's a little crooked. Sorry if you can see the top of my head. I'm kind of having to look down on it. I'm looking down on you. Okay. I got my paper glued on and my magnet is underneath. There's no large bulge. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but they're 1 millimeter thick and 10 millimeters around. They may make the 1 millimeter thick ones in a smaller diameter. If they do, I might pick up some of those. Just make sure they're not any thicker than 1 millimeter. You know, you don't want them to stick up. Okay, so we've got that. Now, on my cover, I am not going to cover my closure on the outside. Wow, I said I wasn't going to, but now I can see that I can actually see the shadow of the magnet through the paper. So maybe I will put a matching square on the top that matches this. I'll put the same one, or maybe, let me look through these real quick. This one's, oh, this one's got the little bird on it. That way it would match. No, I don't, that's too dark. That matches the inside of the book. Oh, here's our little Maya Angelou, I'm sorry, Maya Angelou saying. That might look nice on our cover. So let's glue this one in, just center it, and it will cover the magnet, see? So let's glue that on. I wrote the word, the letter T for top, and you know what? It's upside down. So I'm just going to erase that. That is no help whatsoever. I forgot to wait. I have no patience. I don't know if you guys know that about me or not. I'm sure now that this is my 130th video or something that you probably know that by now. Unless you didn't know, I already had 130 tutorial videos up. And in that case, where have you been? Oh, wait, actually this goes like this. And so we want to put the top on it. Then we want to center it. We want to ignore my dog. I'm going to hold that down because it seems to be kind of sticking up a little bit. Oz? Alright, I hope covering up the mic when I said that was enough. If not, I will adjust because I looked at what time. Okay, let me look at this. Well, I think that might be pretty right there. What do you guys think? And then it will cover up the shadow of the magnet. I didn't realize you could see it through. Okay. I'd like to double check. Now this matches the cover of our book, but I don't really think it matches the cover of our cover, or the cover of the thing. Oh, this is kind of pretty. I don't think it matches that. I mean, it matches it, but it doesn't match the tan squares down there. This one does. I still like this saying better. The level of our success is limited only by our imagination, and no act of kindness, however small, is ever wasted. I like that too. It's got the little bird versus the lady, which I don't have any other ladies in the journal anywhere. I'm just kind of looking to see if there's one that matches this page exactly that is not the one I used. Because I could always use the one I used. But, no, I think I like this one. So I'm going to open this up. If I hold it up, I can see, if I hold it up to the light, I can see where the inside one is. And then lay it down. And then make a little mark, a very light mark in pencil, because I'll be able to come back and erase it. And another little mark here. Then I know where to corner it up to match. Yeah, because I can see the shadow of the square and the shadow of the magnet. I hadn't put them on ahead of time, so I didn't realize. But I don't mind. It's okay. Especially since the quote has something about dreams in it, doesn't it? Oh, imagination. That's good. That's still good. So let's line it up with our little marks. Guess what I didn't do? I didn't ink it. Come here, little guy. Okay, so I'm going to remove mine and wait for the glue to dry, and I'll ink it and put it back on. I did ink this one, so I did it ahead of time. Now, like I said, this one's going to be, is going to attach by itself in the front, like that, okay? This one is going to need to be attached on the back by glue. And you're going to line it up with the edge of the gusset on the edge of the back, and then centered up and down. The easiest way to do that would be to close the magnet. Then close it like this and make a mark. I am not going to put paper over mine. So I'm not going to put this on yet because obviously I haven't covered the back yet. So I'm just going to wait. So what I mainly wanted to do was to place my magnet in the right spot on both pieces. And then I'll come back, like I said, and I'll put this back on after I get the glue spider webs off. This actually might be dry enough to ink. Well, I'm not going to make you watch me ink it. I better not do that. End up gluing it to my cutting mat here. And I believe, glue the paper to the cover. Yep, that is it. Okay, so that's all for this video 3. And I will see you in the next video. And that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.